What's good, everybody? It's your boy Kirk Ray Smith. Y'all know what it is. Welcome to another episode of the I Am with Kirk Ray Smith podcast, brought to you by the One Charitable Coalition, where we try to bridge the resource gap between small businesses, small nonprofits, and the cash. We bring donors and those in need together. Real excited about today's show. I can tell you right now that this is going to be a big show. It's a big deal. I couldn't be more excited, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But in the meantime, get comfortable. Let's go!
You are now tuned in to I Am with Kirk Ray Smith.
Welcome to the I Am Kirk Ray Smith podcast. Do you ever get tired of setting yourself on fire to keep other people warm? Get out of the people-pleasing business ASAP. That people are more interested in how you are than who you are. Listen, I cannot tell you how excited I am about today's guest who's joining me at the table. This person is incredible. Been playing the game of golf since age 7. I actually had the pleasure of being on the golf course with this incredible human being a few different times. Thought I could teach her something, but of course I realized I couldn't. But she was a Jackson State University Hall of Famer. She led her team to several championships. She's a professional golfer, has 9 professional golf tournament championships, played in Europe, the ladies' European tour, been all over the place. One of the greatest things she's done, though, she's been on several panels, several interviews, engaging young people, spreading messages of business acumen, growth, self-development, health, wellness, you name it. This person is all over the place, an influencer and one of the greatest friends that I have, and I respect her so much. And without further ado, the legendary, stories just getting started, more to do, Hall of Famer, Shasta Averyhardt. Let's go, Shasta. I'm so excited to have you here, man. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. And you know, I feel like you just need to travel with me. You're on a personal hike, man.
I will. I told you I'd be your concierge. I've been telling you that for 10 years, but you won't hire me.
You cost too much. You're too expensive.
But yeah, so really, Shasta, you know, again, thank you for coming out. I know you're very, very busy. Sometimes I see some of your posts, I don't know where you are. I'm like, is she in Atlanta? Is she in Paris? Where is she? Is she on some island, you know, where Mexico? I have no idea where you are, but thank you that you found just time to be here with us today. And so I really want to get into a few things, but before we do that, can you share a little bit about your story, how you got to where you are, why are you so darn successful? You know, what did Shasta have to do to get to where she is right now?
Well, I would, you know, I feel like we're our toughest critic, right? Because I actually last night was thinking about, okay, what have you not done, completed? What do you need to finish? Kind of having that moment, you know, are you being the best that you could possibly be? And I mean, my journey did start with golf at the age of around 6, 7 years old. My dad does play.
I was 30 when you were 7, by the way. That's not
you
true.
just aged yourself. No, you did. You're lying. And so Dad, you know, he loves golf, and he would bring me to the golf course. And eventually, he was like, "Well, let me see, like, if she, you know, wants to play golf. Like, let me get her a cut down set of clubs." Because before I was just running around the putting green with a putter, and you know, just kind of all over the place. And so. My dad, he's very athletic, and he was like, well, maybe she has an athletic bone in her body. And so he got me some clubs, and it was pretty much just watch Daddy. And so I'd watch him and observe how he was swinging. He gave me, obviously, you know, little tips on how to set up, address the ball. And he started watching me hit, and he was like, you know what, I think there's something there. And so we just continued with golf, and it was fun. For the most part, I didn't start taking golf serious until probably around my freshman year of high school, because I was balancing volleyball as well, because I picked up the interest with volleyball. And I was like, well, I'm going to be a 2-sport athlete. And my mom, she, for a while, I actually told her, I was like, you know, I don't know about golf. And this was right before I started getting serious about golf in 9th grade. And I said, I think I'm going to quit and focus on volleyball. And so she was just like, you know, your father said that he's going to get you a car if you pick up your clubs again. And I said, okay. well, if I'm going to do this in the car at 16 years old,
Right.
that's what every teenager's dream is, to get their car at 16 years old,
Right. Oh,
their
yeah.
license, everything like that. So I said, well, I want a car. So, all right, fine, I'll pick up clubs. But I knew that whatever I do, I'm 100% in. And so I said, well, I want to take it serious, Dad. And so we started working with the local teaching pro that had all the top girls in the area of the Flint area. And we started building a swing and having the good fundamentals. And so that led me to really taking the game serious, learning really the deeper mastery side of golf. And
It's such a mental game.
it's so
such a
mental,
game.
and that was something that I had to learn aside from the physical
Yeah.
component of golf.
Yeah.
How do you score? Like, why are you thinking negative thoughts? How do I train myself to think positive thoughts, especially at such a young age? Your frontal lobe hasn't developed yet.
Development. I think it takes longer for guys, though. They said that women,
It does.
y'all develop a little bit faster. It takes us to about 25, 26. Is that true?
Yes.
My oldest son, I'm still waiting, but that's okay.
Still
He's
waiting.
past that age, but continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so it finally clicked for me in
Yeah.
around sophomore, junior year of high school. And I call myself like a late bloomer. I feel like a lot of things
Yeah.
I do is always later in life compared to others. And it led me to wanting to play collegiate golf. And we started looking at a lot of schools, D1s.
Yeah.
Some smaller D1s and then some bigger D2s, and I went on a few visits, and I ended up going to Jackson State.
Yeah,
on an
HBCU.
event. Yeah, and at the time I didn't know it was HBCU because
Oh.
growing up in Flint public school system, the demographic, it was, anywhere from 60 to 90% black students.
Yeah.
And so to me, that's
was
normal.
normal, right,
That's normal.
right,
So in going
right.
down to Jackson State for a visit,
Right.
I'm like, oh, well, it seems like all the black kids want to go to Jackson State as well.
That's interesting.
It's just, I didn't understand. And my father being a U of M alum,
And I love
maybe,
your father, by the way.
I know.
That's his only weakness is Michigan. But continue. I'm a
Okay.
Buckeye. So,
I know, we know you're loud and proud Buckeye.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So we go down to Jackson State, do the visit, and I come back and say, I'm not going there. I said, I'd rather go, can we maybe look at Eastern Michigan? Can we look at University of Michigan? Only because it was far away from home. And, we looked at we did a pros and cons list. Parents, we sat down and we're like, okay, full ride scholarship, Division I in the South where you can play golf all year round. Compared to, maybe staying up north. One of the schools was a full ride, but you're not going to play golf as much. And the other school is only like a 25 to 30% scholarship. You're going to go into debt. Let's go with the better offer. And so committing Jackson State, going down there, and chose accounting as my background. And I actually learned that about what an HBCU was in University Success class that first semester. And so
And you dominated too when you went down there. You dominated the game of golf. All the way
I
to
would
the Hall of
say
Fame.
I had
That's
a
incredible.
pretty, I would say I had a pretty
Yeah.
successful
That's incredible,
collegiate
man.
career. And we played a bunch of schools. Coach Payton was very adamant about us going to play other schools like South Alabama, Southern Miss. We're going over to South Carolina and then going to play Bethune-Cookman and some of the bigger D2 schools in Florida. And so we had a very well-rounded schedule where we were playing a lot of the girls I saw on tour eventually. So and beat a few of them. So obviously that gives you a little boost, to confidence that and by the time I was in sophomore, junior of college, I was like, I think I'm going to play professionally.
Yeah.
Do it.
And thank God you did, and then been only the fourth African-American woman to ever earn her LPGA card. And that was in 2011, was it? Yeah, 2011.
Yep.
But then it's interesting, you were very successful up to that point, and then took a break in 2014. What was that all about? I mean, you were right in the flow, LPGA, everything, and then you decided to take some time away.
Well, I mean, so I feel like when you accomplish like a part of your dream, getting your tour card, I feel like if you're pursuing professional golf, as a woman, you want to play on the LPGA Tour, and that was the goal. And so getting my card, I became overwhelmed with how much everything was going to cost. And knowing I don't know where the source is going to come from. And I did have a sponsor at the time, and it was a group of women called Sisters Across America's 501c3 based out of Orlando, Florida, and they were newly developed, organization and wanted to mentor a minority woman to get on LPGA Tour. So the timing worked out perfect.
Yeah.
But it was like fundraising. It was challenging at times because a lot of people were on board with it when they're hearing about what their mission is. But sometimes it's either maybe they don't have enough disposable income to support, or maybe a lot of times it was very individuals were very critical of my resume and what am I actively doing. And I think at the time I kind of pushed that away. I didn't really give into opinions and thoughts of others, especially when they didn't know me and know my background. But it got to a point where when I was on tour, I knew I didn't have enough money to play, and I was scraping all the time. And Six Cross America was doing the best that they possibly could, but it's so expensive.
But Shasta, I don't think people understand, though, in the professional golf world, how much you have to pay your own way, how dependent you are on financial support. Like people think everybody's rich and millionaires and all of that, and you literally got to pay to play.
You have to pay to play. You have to have either maybe family support, family money. You either get lucky and meet someone that wants to sponsor you for 3 years and take care of all your travel, your golf expenses, or you just have you tough it out depending on your mental, your mindset. Essentially, and you do well and you can fund yourself, but it's hard. It's hard to do, and there's a very small percentage of professional golfers that are able to do that. And mainly, if you go into golf, you're not receiving these big contracts unless you're a phenom coming out of college, and most players aren't. And so you're trying to figure out who's going to support you, who believes in you, and you need angel investors.
And I think too, our topic, today is about betting on yourself. And I know you've bet on yourself for a long time and still betting on yourself to this day. And I really am inspired by all the great things I had a chance to witness you do and be around you and your impact that you've had on people. And I really want to dive into some I won't call them some social issues, but I do have some concerns, and I would love to discuss those concerns and sort of get your thoughts. So let's take a quick break, and when we come right back, Shasta and I, we're going to do a deep dive into a couple topics. And again, stick around, relax. I think this is going to be a great segment coming up.